Hello, welcome to our first live in the month of May 2022. My name is SAGENEL Nkechi, and I'm happy to have you here. Happy, so happy to have you here. Today we are speaking about something really important. Yes, Ugochi is here already. Like she's here already. So let me just add that to the conversation. We're speaking about the woman, the single woman in motion. And the reason why we saw it fit to speak about this topic is because of the recent pressure that has been coming up regarding marriage and even some of the things that I've been teaching as well. And now having ladies as examples that can come and show and share their own lives so that people can see that it is a reality to walk in purpose and be joyful and happy. It's usually better when people hear it from what we call the horse's mouth or people who are currently in that space, and that is why we're bringing up Ugochi, and she'll be joining in immediately and we'll get started. Okay.
Some of all those important things. Ugochi, this your beauty that they're always talking about it's very, it's very, it's real. You know what? Some things are over. I feel like, what is it again? No, like, just look at how you're just shining. Like, you just brought sunshine to this life. Like, I'm so happy to have you here, Gucci. I'm happy. Thank you so
Thank you
much
so much.
for joining. Yes, your timing and everything. Thank you. All right, so let's go straight to Ugochi's profile and then we'll move from there. Ugochi Obidiegwu. Is that correct? Your pronunciation of your surname? Obidiegwu.
Obidiegwu.
Yes, Ugochi Obidiegwu is a social development strategist with a specialty in developing products programs and providing policy advisory on pressing development issues affecting young Africans. Our major work pillars are around ensuring child safety, reducing substance abuse in youths, and providing strategy for social impact initiatives. She is the author of a child safety storybook series available in English and French, co-creator of an online safety game for children, and a developer of social impact apps. Currently, the Safety Chick Compass and You program. Again, Ugochi, thank you for choosing to do this. So I will start out with the first question, which is getting to know a bit about you. Tell us about your childhood. What was growing up like for you? Because when I was preparing my question, I tagged you as something. I said Ugochi is the drive lady. So please speak to us about your childhood. What was growing up for you like? What would you say are the ingredients and things that shaped your worldview or inspiring or motivating some of the things you do today?
Okay, thank you so much once again for inviting me to this live and most especially to this very important topic. And it's important because of, the societal pressures that ladies face. Yes, thank you.
When you don't have MRS attached to your name, you can be the doctor and everything, but once that MRS, it's not, you're not complete. So,
It's like on my birthday last year. Oh, was it even my birthday? I was doing a GoFundMe last year to go to school for my master, and I think someone saw my birthday post or something. The person said, all these degrees, all these things that you have done, at this point, go and marry. Said it on Facebook, and some of my ladies just chop him raw in that comment. In that comment section. Anyway.
I can imagine you are talking like, what are you bracing for? So it's okay. But that's why I have to take us through this journey because we just have to really speak about this settling thing and balancing it and just having a conversation around it, which is what we are doing now.
Yes. Okay, so to my childhood, I was born in Kano. I was born in
Oh,
Kano. Yes,
amazing.
my dad had a business in Kano, and family was doing quite well. You know, I used to say that I was born with a silver spoon, and then the spoon got missing along the way. But
Hmm.
religious crisis caused us to move from Kano to Lagos, and when we did that, that's when the whole um, financial drama sort of started. But even then, I grew up to have parents who were hardworking, who wanted the best for their children. So they would deny themselves to ensure that we were fine. So we were shielded actually from knowing that there was a difference. But you know, as you begin to,
Wow.
you will notice that something is not really.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now they're not
So
telling me the full picture.
yes, yes. But you see, even then, they taught us contentment. We could be very happy without having a lot. And it's a culture that even up till now, we still have in my family. Because I had a mom who was involved, right? And she was
Hmm.
grooming my father to also be that way, because my father was a bit on the shy side. He knew how to do man stuff, but he didn't really understand this, you know, family thing, children thing. But he learned from my mom, because even now my mom is gone, I can see my dad doing a lot of things that maybe he wouldn't have been able to do before, you know. So I'm thankful
Oh.
for that kind of family. So, you know, we have family conversations, we gist, we laugh. After you've come back from boarding school, my mom would bring us together. So just so that you don't feel like she's asking you for information, she would start gisting you what happened in her own boarding school, give you gist, the times where maybe somebody was naughty and they had to run, you know, because she's giving gist now. My mom is a very interesting person. So you
Oh,
too, you
very
want to share.
intelligent.
Yes.
Hey, parents.
You also want to
Wow.
share what's going on, you know, in your own school. Maybe when one senior, because anyway, I was senior in my school from JS as well, so I didn't really have the experience of senior, but at least my siblings could share
Hmm.
when a senior did something or when juniors did something. We would just basically share and laugh. And, you know, we had so much fun. You know, my dad used to be somebody that when he's there and all this gist is going on, he wasn't really sure how to behave. So he would just sit there. Do you know then, because not anymore, my dad wants to laugh. He would get up and go to the toilet to laugh.
Oh.
He couldn't laugh with us. I'm telling you, he couldn't laugh with us. But you know, over time, because now my dad can even call you and gist you what is going on and ask you your opinion. I now see that it's because of that intentionality with which my mom built the family. Do you see? And that's one of the things that I took with me, even with my siblings. You know, we can gist, we can laugh, and I'm also going to take it into my own family, because it made
Hmm.
us bond. Yes, we might have our differences. We are not all perfect, right? But at the core of it, we know that family is really important, you know. And so that family thing is so big for me.
Hmm.
Friendship is so big. Hard work is so big. Another thing from my childhood is punctuality. So something
Hmm.
is happening at 9. My father has woken you up by 4 or 5 a.m. because you have to leave me. You know, he wants you to get there if possible by 6 a.m. It used to be so
Hmm.
annoying to us that what is all this? So I'll give an example. I schooled in Air Force in Akwa Ibom State, but I lived in Lagos, and I was first,
Okay.
right? So when I started, I was like one of, well, maybe 2 or 3 Lagos children. That's what they used to call us, Lagos children. But as time went on, we had more people. So that meant we now had a PTA Lagos branch. So my parents used to want to organize a bus that would take all the children from Lagos to Akwa Ibom, right? So all the parents had to bring their children to GRA by a certain time. Maybe I up till now I actually don't know what the exact time was, but I know that I was always the first person to get it. And I'm assistant head girl. I'm supposed to be coming late, you know. I have to show up grand entrance. But I'm the first person to get there because my father take everybody, oh,
Absolutely.
this time you have to be there. I remember complaining to my mom that, can you imagine? I'll not get there and be waiting. Juniors will be arriving 7 o'clock, 8 a.m., 9. What is all? Anyway,
Wow.
anyway, it also shaped my mind, to know that you don't take responsibility for granted, right? if you are supposed to be somewhere at a certain time, the least you can do is go early. So now, even if my dad knows I'm supposed to be somewhere, he's calling extra to say, "Are you there?" I'll say, "Yes, I'll be there." I've calculated the time. I will still get there early without going at your own time. So but I do that calculation. Yeah. So those are important things that I really loved about my childhood and which I took with me into my future.
Thank you so much, Ugochi, for sharing, for just coming all out to share, because I enjoyed it. A lot of laughter, and I thank you for sharing deeply. It was meaningful. Okay, so Ugochi, how did you get into the work that you currently do? Let me ask that first before I ask the next question. How did you even start out with Safety Check and everything you're doing now for the social development space? How did that begin? Was it a dream? Did you watch someone on TV in GS3? Or how did it start out for you?
Okay, so this was not the plan for my life. Actually, when I was in secondary school, I wanted to be a newscaster. So in my secondary school, remember I was first set, so I was the one who always read the news during prize giving day. I was in press club, so I wanted to be a newscaster. That person, now 9 o'clock news.
Yes, my name is Ugochi. Yes.
Then I got admission to UI to study communication and language arts, and in the course of everything, I saw that I didn't want to be a newscaster, engaging me to do, and I just saw then that the newscasters I saw, they just gave them the news to read. I didn't know if they were the ones that went out into the field themselves. I don't know if there was, at the time, that was what I saw. I just saw that they would read the news. I'm thinking, I don't just want to only read the news. I would like to do something more, And then I started to see men host panel sessions or interview people on the news. And I said, okay, if at all I would do broadcasting, this is what I would do. I want to anchor serious conversations, because then what I saw on TV were the girls you would see on TV. They were not doing newscasting itself. They would do countdown for the top 10 music in Lagos is this, and I'm like, no.
But you watch
I'm too serious about this kind of thing. I don't want to count down music or count down movies. I want to talk about serious things. I want to read the news, ask all those important questions, and guests have to answer intelligently. That was what I wanted. Anyway, I saw that I fell in love with advertising in school and saw that, advertising gives me the chance, to always think up of new ideas for clients, because each client would have something different that they were interested in. So that was really what I wanted. I did all my electives in advertising and I was ready. In fact, I interned in an advertising agency. The way I even walked in and got that internship without knowing anybody, that's a story for another day. But, I was ready to step into that. And then I came out from school and I was applying for jobs and I didn't quite get what I wanted. The advertising agency I had interned in did not have a space for me at the time. They were filled up. My contact in the advertising industry sent me to their colleagues. I went around, I didn't get. And then this job in the airline came up. And I just went, at least I'm looking for a job. I just went and I could tell that they loved me. And then when I did my test, when you do a test, I know that this test, I'm going to have 90-something over 100. I just knew that they were going to call me for the interview. And then when the interview, I knew that they loved me. Now, almost getting the job, by now I was hearing how much they were going to pay. And it sounded very good compared to advertising that then one of my friends from advertising had been made an MD of an advertising agent. So he wanted to hire me in their own place. When I asked them how much they were paying and they told me, actually, there's this other place. And now, I wasn't looking at money because I was being greedy, but because I had plans for this money. I knew that I'm an Igbo girl in a family, and I was the first child to start working. So I knew that I wanted to earn money so that I could also support my parents. And I had this dream of wanting to do masters. So I was already calculating how from this salary, I would keep aside for saving, support family, and then of course be able to transport myself in Lagos. Now, what this advertising agency was going to offer could only sort out 1/4 of the things I needed to do. It wouldn't even reach maybe for me to save or anything, you know. So it looked better with the airline. So I got into the airline, but I told myself, because I knew that that wasn't the kind of thing I wanted to do. My dream, my vision for myself at this point was I just wanted to be that intelligent girl, you know, that you would see on the corridors in an office that's always well put together, beautiful, well dressed, and intelligent. You know, when she opens her mouth to talk, you know that this
it's a matches to look.
That was the ambition, you know. So I knew that this airline thing was just a route to making that happen, you know. And so I got in, yes, to the airline. And on the job, my boss, within a month, she gave me a responsibility. As with all things, I took it seriously. And over time, I had this experience. My mom died. Nobody on the scene knew what to do. When I saw her hours after, I kind of had an idea of what to do because I'm a trained cabin crew and first aider, but time had been lost. People did not act properly. Even then, when I saw her, the police were acting funny, you know, when I was giving instructions on what needed to be done. So all that just filed somewhere in my head. And then seeing stories in the media and applying actually to work in oil and gas, because I saw that this was the route, you know, to leaving the aviation industry, but it wasn't coming. And then one of those days, I just received this email from a lady in South Africa who had reached out to say, I would like to work with you. You run an all-female health and safety business. And she says, thank you so much for reaching out to me. But at this moment, we are not taking anybody from Nigeria. And we don't have plans to come and open a business in Nigeria, because that was what I proposed to her. So I felt really crushed. I felt bad. And in that moment, that was when God spoke to me, and he said, why are you going to ask somebody to come from another country and set up a business for you when you are the son of the soil? And I'm like, but God, I don't really know so much about safety. You know, I'm still learning. I don't have all the certifications. And he says, that's not true. Every holiday during your leave, you have been going about taking health and safety courses. I said, okay, actually, you are right, but I don't have enough experience. And he says, that's also not true. During your holidays, you are going to go and volunteer in organizations. You are working for free to learn. I said, okay, correct. But I'm a young girl, because I was, I think maybe 26 or 27. I said, I'm a young girl. Where do I stand to compete against this big oil and gas company, all these big health and safety industries, companies rather? How? I'm just one small girl. How am I going to do that? And he says, no, you're not going to compete with them. You're going to focus on small businesses. Just last week, there was a fire at so-and-so supermarket on the island. If people knew what to do. And it made sense. And you see, this is it. When God wants to catch you, he will just give you something small, you know, just little, so that you feel it's manageable. It's just a little. But once you step in and you start doing it, he will give you more. He will give you more. And before you know it, you see this big vision that you can't run away from, because he has put you in the middle, and running away will make you look irresponsible.
Yes.
And God,
I do not.
he knows that ability quotient is 110%. If you want to get Ugochi to do something, just make her the one in charge. Even if she's dying, because she's the one in charge, she will get it done. And that's how God caught me. So this really wasn't my plan. I know that there are some people who think that this Ugochi self, she just likes to self-promote. This one. I'm like, if you really knew the story, but anyway, I don't explain to many people. If you really knew that this was not my plan, I wanted to be in someone else's business, being one of the brains that made their work to shine. But God pushed me out. And every time I even try to cover some things, he pushes it out. So it's almost like you can't hide. And that's how I got into doing what I'm doing. So starting from wanting to be a newscaster, to advertising, to being a cabin crew. And anyway, guess what? The work I'm doing today is just a combination of everything that I have done before. So even the interviews, I panel sessions. I have sessions. I still anchored an event yesterday, and one of the feedback I got is, I like the way every time somebody, you know, answers one of the questions that you ask, you always say something that relates. I'm going to take that skill for my own public speaking journey. And it's all, yeah. So sometimes it might not look like what your plan is, but every single thing that you're doing now is going to add up towards the future that God wants for you.
Thank you so much, Ugochi. I'm really enjoying this conversation. I hope we'll have endless. Let me give that. So, Ugochi, while you were talking, you shared a bit about your mom. I don't know if it's something you want to speak about now. Did your mom pass on due to safety, or is something you rather not speak about right now? And we'll just move on to the next question. I'm not sure if that was the surrounding what happened. Because you mentioned it, so I thought I was going to ask you.
Yeah. Okay, so I've actually spoken about it in the public domain. I don't talk about it a lot in details, but yeah, I've spoken about it in the public domain. My mom was coming back from a trip, and my father, again, we have a close-knit family, was going to pick her up, because that is what he would do for any of us. Even when I worked in the airline, my dad used to come and pick me up or drop me off at the airport. So he was going to pick her up. Her friends were supposed to drop her at a spot, and then he would pick her from there. Now, the friends decided to take her a bit forward from the original spot they were supposed to drop her. And so my dad went there to pick her. He didn't see her. And so he turned around, went and turned back to go there and pick her. He didn't see her. Coming back, he saw a group of people by the road, and he checked to see what they were doing, and he saw his wife on the floor. So my mom was standing by the road. She was not crossing. She was not on the wrong side of the road. A car that was going one way, which was being chased by the police, ran into my mom and ran away. So that was what happened. So now people on the scene did not know what to do. So my dad parked his car and came down to help my mom. They picked her, took her into a vehicle, took her to a hospital. The hospital says they're not going to accept her. And so the drivers got confused. And my dad says, please take us back to the original accident spot. My car is there so that I can carry my wife and go and look for a hospital. Because, you know, time is of the essence in an emergency. I always say that knowledge is important. Time is important. If you have time and you don't have the knowledge to do what you're supposed to do, it's a problem. If you have knowledge but you don't have the time, it's also a problem. And my dad, they take my dad back to this stop. My dad gets off to go into his car, and they drive off with my mom. So we never saw my mom again till maybe 3 or 4 hours later, when I saw her and cabin crew training. I felt for breath, and I felt breath, and that's why I was speaking to the policeman, get up, let's carry her. We can still make it to the hospital. And they were busy doing nonsense. Anyways, for me, everything that happened at the scene of from when the accident happened, doing one way. Are you supposed to drive one way in this? The police that is chasing you that you are driving wrong one way, is that what people are supposed to be doing? Okay, someone has had an accident. Nobody is sure of what to do. Eventually you take, now somebody is now saying this is what we are supposed to do, and people are acting funny and wasting time. And then you get to the hospital, because I got to the hospital, went to speak to the nurse. That is what we're supposed to do, and she was moving sluggishly. Come and carry. He was doing one kind. In fact, that one even pushed me. You know, so there's a whole lot of inefficiency around the whole thing. Just means that none of us is really safe. if when something happens to you, the way people are going to react is not going to protect you. And so for me, I believe in a proactive approach. So how about we even prevent those kinds of things from happening by equipping people with the right knowledge? Because if people know what to do, maybe to some extent it can help. And now let's say the accident now even happens. If people know what to do at the scene of an accident, it also helps. But what we see is sometimes the actions that people take even endanger the person's life. And so all those let's call them revolving parts are all important when we talk about safety. And that's why I'm always, speaking from the prevention point of view, because according to research, 98% of accidents are preventable. Only two like this are not preventable.
Wow. Thank you so much, Ugochi. Thank you for sharing. So that takes me to the next question. What would you say is your core why? Because I've asked what is your core why for what you do, for why you do what you do, and you're even particular about children as well. What would you say is that why that drives you? And then we'll move into other questions regarding singlehood and all.
Okay, so I believe that nobody should have to die or be subjected to a reduced quality of life because of unsafe situations. And so at the bottom of it, that is actually what drives me. Because if, for example, okay, so in my mom's case, she died. But let's say my mom didn't die, or maybe her leg got broken and then she had to use crutches for the rest of her life. That will be subjecting her to a reduced quality of life. She will not be able to live life in full as she's supposed to. These are the things that happen to anybody when you are involved in workplace accidents. It's either you die or something happens to you that reduces the quality of life that you are supposed to expect. Nobody should go to work and leave that workplace with worse than when they came in. If anything, it should be better. It shouldn't be that maybe you came with 20/20 vision and then when you are leaving, one eye is totally closed. Or you were walking hands and feet and you are leaving, you are using crutches. Or you still live without crutches, right? But you have back pain that is going to subject you to bed rest or inability to use your body properly. So anything that is going to cause you not to live your life in full is a problem. And so at the bottom of it, trying to ensure that this does not happen to anybody. And one of the ways to secure the future is by training the future generation, by equipping them early, making it easy for them to step into safe spaces easily. I like to use an example that if all your life you have eaten food with your right hand, and you step into the workplace and they say, oh my goodness, that is the wrong way to eat. The best way to eat and nutrients get absorbed into your body is if you use your left hand. It's going to be tough. It will be tough because all your life you have used the right. So even if you try and you use your left hand, it will be difficult. Nobody is watching. You will switch. Consequence. You just say, well, all these years I've not died without the nutrients. Let me just continue. And it's the same thing that people go into the workplace. We are telling them, this is the way to make a safe decision, or this is what you are supposed to do, and people sure, or they are taking shortcuts, or it's not a part of their lives. However, if you begin to train children now on the right things to do, you are forming them because they're in their formative stages. They're still like clay. So you're molding them. So they grow with those things. And when they find themselves anywhere tomorrow and you ask them to do certain things, it's like, that's common knowledge. Like everybody knows that because they are used to doing it. And so that is why I've focused my work more on children. Would I keep on speaking to adults? Yes, I will, because at some point, policy has to change. We need to get the adults to arrange certain things for it to work for the children. But for me, I'm really focused on molding the future through the work that we do.
Thank you. So brilliantly shared. So I wanted to share something else. I just forgot my train of thoughts because I was just so into your last response and conversation. Okay, so what was it with all of this passion that you have? Could you share with us some of your experiences with relationship. But before then, Ugochi, when you worked in the airline, did you work as an air hostess? Was that how, what in the capacity that you worked, or safety? I'm not sure I got that clearly.
Okay, so I was a cabin crew.
Okay.
Cabin crew is what it's called air hostess. For some reason, I like the term cabin crew.
Cabin crew.
I was a cabin crew. It was a year on the job that my boss made me a safety officer in flight operations. So I held two roles, cabin crew and safety officer. So yes, I September.
Wow. Okay. Thank you for sharing. So Ugochi, with all of this drive and all of this passion, what has it been like with, of course, so you may not share everything, but what you can share, what has it been like navigating relationship? And when I mean relationship, I don't even mean romantic relationship. I mean meeting guys who may be interested or claim to be interested, and they hear your dreams and your drive. Is it usually, have you met guys that are like, oh well, yeah, good, I'm happy about this, or are intimidated, or is it just a myth? I'm asking this question in this way. I'll give you context and give you opportunity to speak. On air yesterday, on the show that I lead every Friday, I was speaking to men about some biases that will maybe blocking them from marrying the women of their dreams. And just a lot of them had something to say about status. That's the umbrella. Yes, it was about money, but about status. They felt that if they got a woman, or if they get a woman that is above them in any form, and even above them is another definition of what does that even mean, or but a woman who looks like is above them in societal status, the woman is going to be disrespectful. So for the much you can share, Ugochi, what has it been like for you? Because you're a single lady in motion and you are joyful and happy. I can say that from our conversation, like you're really happy. You're not sad and angry at life because you are in a singlehood journey. How has that been for you navigating that? Thinking of relationship. Yeah, I'll allow you to speak and then we'll do follow-up questions. Oh, I can't hear you, Ugochi. I can't hear you.
So,
okay, I can hear you now. Okay, I couldn't hear you before.
Experienced. Okay, can you go? I've not really experienced funny situation in that sense, because there is a way that how do I say this thing now? God, please help me. So there's a way that I carry myself, right? That does not give room for nonsense conversation, right? And maybe it also came because I started getting suitors very early. People started trying to so let me give you information. So on this call, this Mr. Joseph Suberu is playing in my secondary school.
Oh wow!
This is a subject that he's always wondering that what's going on with this girl.
You have come to the right place to get gist.
He's listening earnestly. Okay, so I started getting suitors very early as when I was 16. People would want all those aunties. They want to hook me up. They would come to tell my mother. So the thing is to piss me, even up till now. In fact, I think I got so annoyed with it that up till now, I hate it when people want to matchmake me. I hate it. Like I keep saying, that's not how God is going to give me my husband. I hate it. And that's because I got it early a lot. You would just be in your house. One auntie would just come and, please, what is it? What is it?
Marriage is it. Can you imagine? Wow, did you allow Ugochi breathe? Okay, no.
So I got it early, so I think it made me very conscious. You know, I knew that I was beautiful. I knew that I was intelligent, and I also knew that I didn't want just anyhow. because I knew that I was going to be someone in life, and I wanted a husband that could relate with me on that level. At a point, my mom also caught on. So my mommy will be telling all these aunties that, see, Ugochi is not looking for a rich man. No. She's just looking for somebody that she can relate with on the same level. So she started having those conversations with people on my behalf, because, of course, being rich is not a problem, but your head has to be put on properly. Like, that is more important to me than any other thing. So it's kind of, should I say, shaped me. And when I packaged myself, like I carry myself in a way that to actually come and ask me out. Then I can now do my own checks. But there's this thing I always say, that from the very first time I speak with a guy, I can tell if you are going to go anywhere or not.
Apologies for that, Ugochi. That was very rude network interruption. I think just one of, but I'm glad that we're back now. Can you hear me now? I was very surprised because I'm using a very good network.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you also hear me? I was actually typing for the comment. Hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yeah, sorry about that. Where I stopped before I got disconnected was where you were talking about, so when a man walks up to you, that's what you were trying to say, because you explained that the way you even carry yourself, it's not just anybody that can walk up.
Yes. So if you are now bold enough to actually have that conversation with me, then it also helps. And I said, you didn't hear that part. I said that I usually say that from the first time I go anywhere or not. And that's because when you have normal conversations, but what I'm doing in those conversations is I'm getting your feelers on if you are 18, believe that there is more that a woman can be. I will just cap it at that, because it encompasses what a typical African man is. So so when I have conversation, just normal conversation, just gisting, and I'm asking you some kinds of questions just to get a feel. If in our conversation your responses are tilting towards typical African man, I'm not going to condemn you, nothing, but me, I just know that is the end. So we'll still talk, we'll still be friends, because I believe that God brings people into our lives for different reasons. I'm not going to marry everybody that asks me. Maybe it's my future business partner, or maybe it's me that will help you, or it's you that will help my children. We don't know. So I am that open-minded to believe that we don't all have to end up dating to be to have good relationships with people. Yeah. So if I pick up that vibe, I'm not going to. Yes, I've not had a problem now with maybe people being in a relationship and somebody thinking that maybe I am too much or my own is too much because I didn't allow it to get to that point. The only relationship where we had a friction in that sense, and it had nothing to do with career, it just had to do with this person trying to suppress me, in the sense that I'm kind of a person that I believe that if I'm in a relationship, because of the kind of family I'm coming from, I want to communicate, I want to gist, I want to tell you, talk and all. Now, this other person, if I talk, somehow I will be the person that was wrong. Somehow, the whole thing will change and I'll be wrong.
I know stories like that. How come you're always wrong every time?
So it made me to. So I started before I would talk, I would think, rethink, rearrange the sentence.
Stressful.
Is this an
exactly?
So
Really
at the point, I said I
stressful.
was not going to talk anymore. But I'm like, no, it's important for me to communicate in a relationship. And so if somebody is making me not to be able to talk, that's a problem, you know. So
God. Ugochi, sorry about that.
no. Please stop apologizing about it.
No,
Please stop
because you
apologizing.
try to do the whole network thing, it will still be embarrassing you on the live. In fact, okay,
No.
let me
It's
just.
okay. It's okay. I mean, I understand. I cannot be forming that. What's all that? I know.
What's happening over there in that country? I mean, God, anyways, we'll get there because that was a different conversation entirely. Thank you, Ugochi. I believe that I finished up except there was something else you wanted to add to what you
What
were
is that
saying.
you read?
Oh, okay, so you were speaking, you shared how the conversation, at one point you stopped talking in that particular relationship, but then because of your upbringing, you're like, no, you're not going to stop talking. And I think you were going further to talk about what you then did before I went off.
Okay. Yes. So I knew that this was not what I wanted. So I went back to God, because the truth is, I got to a stage in my life where there are many times over the past 2 years that I've not been in a relationship, because each time I would want to go into a relationship, I would want to act and be sure that it's well, and God fine-tuned it for me that I had to step out of that relationship. That day, the guy did a 360 switch. He changed. I'm telling you, it
Wow.
was almost like magic. Like, if I did not hear specifically from God, I would have
Wow.
stayed on in that relationship, because I'd be like, okay, he has changed. Let's just move on, you know.
Yeah.
But because I left anyways, even though he did that switch, we now became best boyfriend ever lived, this on that one. But I knew that no.
You had to.
God. I saw signs I did not like. God himself has confirmed. What again am I waiting for? You know. And today I'm happy with that decision, because maybe I would have experienced more of that. And big is from big family. If you people would have heard my wedding on Bella Naija, is that kind of
Hey, can you imagine? Wow.
so
Wow.
if I was not listening inside to
Yes.
who God says I am and what God says about me and the kinds of family that I want, I would have wanted to, you know, do wedding that will break the internet, you know, and all that. But I know that I want, after I'm out there in the world, saving the world, solving problems, because that is what after I finish saving the world, I can just be calm and have peace and no drama and no overthinking before I say one simple thing. I knew that. And so, yes. So I've not experienced the ones maybe who are bothered. In fact, the people who are bothered about maybe they don't ask me, they will not ask me out, because there will even be a room to ask me out. Yes, there won't be room, because as we have those conversations, I also know what I want. I know what God says, more importantly, because I believe that this is what I say, right? If God asks me to go in any direction regarding marriage, that is where I am going to go, regardless of how I feel, because I know that God will not lead me to my destruction. So there are many times people have asked me out. You know, I would pray and I would ask, and like, no, he's not the one, and you know, no, just wait. I would wait, and I know that at least one or two people have said to me that, are you sure? Are you not the one just being too picky, or are you the one that is just being unreasonable? But I know what God says. And that's one thing I have to say to every single day. You have to be sure for yourself what God says about you as a person. You have to be sure about what God says about your future, the future he's taking you into. Because whoever you add is going to amplify it or detract it. And then you have to be sure of who God is saying you are going to get married to. And now I'm going to give this example. So when you marry, you are supposed to submit to your husband, because you are under him. You guys are a team. You're supposed to work together.
Yes.
Now, if God has called you to step into the international terrain, right? God has also called this guy to step into the national terrain, not even national, maybe state or local government. You know that God called into the international terrain. Because you are falling in love, or you're looking at societal pressure, or because of many other things, you choose, regardless of what God has said or what God is showing you, to go to the man that was assigned to you. When you go there, you have to submit, because submission is important in marriage. You cannot go under local government terrain and start causing problem. You have to release me. I was sent to the nations. You were sent to the nations, but you chose to go under someone who was sent to man a local government. So you have to should I say submit there. You have to obey there. You have to work there, because we are supposed to work. Now, if God blesses you and this person, because you know there are two kinds of people. There are those who will be reasonable and those who will be unreasonable. In that local government, so there might be a reasonable person that will say, okay, I also believe in God. I know that yes, it's possible that God sent it in the international terrain. Now, both of you would have it. Also, it's not impossible, right? But both of you have to do the work of working in synergy to make that local government vision an international vision to meet somewhere and work.
Yes.
You can't just become something else because you were sent to international terrain. You chose to come under the leadership of this person. And if you chose to come under, then you must see how both of you can, should I say, work together for mutual outcomes. Yeah, it's not something that you are going to get by doing gra-gra. That is if you met a reasonable person under local government. If you now met an unreasonable person that says, no, I am the man. I am the man. Because I am the man, then you see that you have put yourself in the trouble that you had no business being in the first place. And that is why, as a woman, you must not just do things for doing sake. You must know what God says about you first. It's very important. It's not selfish. It's that we are all under assignment in this. So when you know what God says about that, what God says about your mates or people younger than you are getting married, then you go and put yourself where you were not supposed to be. You have to understand that if you have put yourself there, it is wisdom that you are going to use to navigate it. It's not impossible. It's just that it's going to take a lot of work on both of you. And that is if both of you are reasonable. But if one person is not reasonable, then you can see that it's going to be a problem. And so that's just what I have to say.
You said so many things in this, what you have to say. You've actually shared so many things. Thank you, Ugochi. And I like the perspective you are coming from. Is rich, it has a lot of wisdom in it. And I hope that those who have ears can hear. What are your thoughts on the pressure that women over 30s are feeling? Do you think that is an artificial pressure? And how do you navigate and maintain peace in your own life on the journey to wanting to get married, but still knowing that, hey, I'm on that journey and we will get there? How do you maintain peace? And for those who claim to be under pressure, what do you have to say to them? Especially when a woman is over 30, there are a lot of theories on why the blood pressure and every other thing should increase because of age and whatnot.
And the reason I know it's real is because just this week, I have spoken to some friends who reached out on this matter. They're in their 30s and they are worried and, yes. So it is real. It is real. And comes from some people, it's their family. Some people, it's so family in two parts now: nuclear family, some is extended family, and then of course some is just society, people that don't even know you or have no business having an opinion about your life, saying something. Yes, and so the pressure is real. However, again, the way I carry myself, you cannot come and tell me rubbish. You will look at face. Maybe you can talk at the back, but you will not sit like this in front of me and be. It's as if you see
that conversation.
So I'm in a family where my parents are not stressing us out. You just be good, be a good person, do your stuff, and we are happy to take care of you until it is time for you to, maybe go to your husband's house, as the case may be. So I don't have that pressure, Tanali. I remember one time, one of my uncles, years ago when I was in the airline, he was talking about, stepping out when the ovation is loud there, something like that.
Yeah, which one is that one? There's nothing wrong here. Okay.
There's nothing wrong here. Brother Day, I didn't even know you were here. Hi, Brother Day.
Thank you for joining us, Brother Day.
I just listened to him. And when it was done, I told him that he should not worry. That when I'm ready to get married, that they will invite him, and then And of course, that was the last time he ever had a
conversation
that was
with
the
you.
last time he ever had a conversation with me. But usually people don't have those, people don't tell me those kind of things because, Chase, if you see me, the only thing again, okay, some indirectly, I remember because I am busy or because people think they know about me. How do I say this? So people think they know a lot about me because I share on social media. But the truth is, I only share what I need you to know. There are many things about me that you don't know. But because I speak, it looks like, we know. But you don't know. So, for example, I was in a relationship one time. And because I was busy still smashing goals and doing stuff, somebody actually sent a message and said, hope you are going to have time to answer people that are toasting you. You know, hope you have time. You know, me that was in a full-blown relationship. You know, it was funny. But I also understand it because I don't really talk about relationship on my social media. Last time dating in a relationship with somebody's name was that time, maybe 2016. When I was in university. After that relationship ended. After that relationship ended. Just in a relationship. Up till now, is in a relationship.
You see,
no name.
This Ugochi.
So all the time I was single, not single, it's just standard there. So I don't have the conversation about it yet. So yes, the pressure is real, but what has helped me not to, should I say, succumb to pressure? What has made me to be fine is because I know what God says, and this is what I tell my friends. I tell them that it is in my destiny to get married. I know. And the reason I can say that confidently is because, you know, I know what God says about what my marriage is going to do. So all I don't know is the timeline is going to happen. But I know that it is in my destiny to get married. And so one of the ways that young ladies can manage the pressure, you even need to know what is God saying. Because if you know what God is saying, it just anchors you. You know that you will marry. It's just a matter of time. So while you are waiting for that to happen, you are doing what you're supposed to do. It's just the case of, again, because when you're not yet married, there's also the conversation of, hey, so when I now get married, will I now have a child? They say older women, the eggs. Do you think I still had a conversation with someone? And she's talking about maybe freezing your eggs so that your eggs maintain your current age, and even if you're older, blah, blah, blah. I didn't say much to the person, but it reminded me of a conversation I have with my friends. And I'm saying this because I talk a lot with my friends about this marriage thing because, you know, they feel free and we can discuss. And this is what I've told them that it's my destiny to get married, number one. Number two, whenever I get married, I'm going to have a child. I don't care whether people say, oh, the number of your eggs reduced and blah, blah, blah. I told them, I say, all I need is one egg. I don't need the millions of eggs. I need one. Just one. That one is going to meet my husband's sperm and I'm going to have a baby. But now, let's say maybe God even says, oh, it's twins will want to give you Ugochi because just, you know, to make up for lost time. That's one egg. That has met my husband's sperm is going to break into two and give me identical twins. So I don't need millions of eggs. I don't even need 100,000. I just need one. And that one is it. So I am that sure that I am not going to look for a baby. So, and again, let's even leave one egg. I have the person babies. So let's say peradventure, I'm not ready to have a child. There is what God says about you. It just because where else you want to get that kind of certainty? You can only get it from God. And so because I know, I'll just keep doing my own thing, right? And when It's time. It's time. Many times, if I want to cause problem on my WhatsApp status, all I need to do is put a picture and let it look like there is a guy there. Within seconds, everybody have come to check because they want to talk about it. So they always, who is this girl dating? What is she even doing?
Oh my God, Ugochi,
for me, it's just funny. It's just funny when I want to catch. When I'm looking for trouble on WhatsApp, that's what I do.
Yes. Wow.
So that's what I'm going to encourage every lady. You've got to go back and know, what does God say? When you know what God says, go and sleep. Just keep doing your thing. Am I saying there will be days you will pass on social media and you will not see nice looking weddings, and just be happy for them. If you know them, can congratulate them. If you don't know them, just smile and be happy, because your own is going to happen, right? And you can only act like that when you are certain. So if as I'm speaking now, you are not even sure if it is in your destiny to get married, then you need to ask who holds your destiny. Because that's the only place you get the answer. Yes. And when you know that, it just makes it easy. It makes it easier for you to, should I say, manage, whatever is thrown at you. And please don't make yourself easy for people to come and say rubbish to. I don't know how you're going to do it. Okay, Bralade is here. It's boundaries. People don't just come and say nonsense to me. Where are you even going to see me first? So it's very important.
Where are you going to see me having that conversation?
Or I don't give room for. So before you say it, you will chop liver. And when you chop that liver and say it, you better chop the liver to receive whatever response that I'm also going to give you. It's boundaries. You don't allow some parts of your life to become a mass market. Everybody is bringing opinion. No.
Bringing their opinion.
You see, yeah. So yeah, that's what I have to say.
No, you've given us, and let me also tell you why I like your style, Gucci. You're also calm. So you're just calm, but you're passing across, well, some people call it bullets, good bullets, nuggets, that is literally going to change the lives of, changing my own life and the lives of those who are watching and are going to watch the replay. Okay, so we're starting to round up now. Ugochi, my next question to you is, there's some, now you've shared with us how to deal with pressure, and more importantly, how to find peace. Very important steps, especially getting to know from God and knowing God. Some ladies think you're a single lady in motion, and I just told you that I gave you a name, the Drive Lady. Some women think that they're like, okay, I've heard you, Ugochi, but is that, do I need to calm down a bit to perhaps attract the man? I know that it's in God's hands. I know that all these other things, but what, for example, let me give you an example that I gave yesterday. I do research. I conduct data from time to time on relationship with people. So I asked this guy, he was with us, anyways, no share all the details, but I asked this guy, a lady was driving a very nice car. I can't remember the brand now. And I'm like, oh, can you, hey, he's single, he's over 30. So I asked, oh, can you date or marry a girl like this? You won't even, you guys know. I'm like, I don't understand. Please explain what you mean. I'm like, no, like you don't even know. I just pointed to someone there that, okay, can you talk to or get to marry to a person like this? So I said, okay, being patient, I said, okay, break down what you mean by no to me. And this guy went on to say, what did he even say? He was saying that, oh, the fact that the girl is driving this car already shows that her needs will be one that he will need to keep up with. And he can only date the girl if it is her father's car, if it is not her own car. I was taken aback. I know it's not like, I know that there's the average Nigerian man, not every, he thinks like that, but I was a bit disappointed, and I just said, okay, but what I left in that conversation is, I believe that you should try and know somebody first. You should
approach before you assume. You should try and know somebody first before you assume that because the person is driving a Bentley or whatever, she won't be submissive. So some ladies are in that dilemma now. They can buy a house or a car, but they are at the space where they don't know if they should. What would you say to them? Because they're feeling maybe it will be too much. Okay, they say we should live our lives as singles, but okay, but can I still live in? It's just a whole lot of questions in this pack, and I want you to please try to explore that. All right.
Okay, so my friend is in the comment section, cute farmer. And
Okay.
I'm sure she has been seeing all my body vibrating here already before.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. Yes, I saw the calm down, but I wasn't sure what the conversation. Maybe she was saying calm down to the women, but now that you've explained that she's your
No,
friend,
she's
I'm like,
also
okay.
saying calm down to the women also, yes, but she's also because she knows we talk about all these things. So
Please,
number
yes, give
one,
us all the perspective. Yes.
number one, don't bring down yourself from the level that God has placed you. If God placed you at that level, it's because there is somebody that is going to meet you there where you are. So if you come down, the person will not find you when he looks. So don't bring yourself down. So I used to drive a Nissan Pathfinder, and I did not buy the car. It was my mom's car, and then after we lost my mom, before I mentioned that my dad used to drop me off at work, and the death of my mom took a toll on my dad. So I told him, okay, please don't drive me anymore. I'm going to start driving myself to work so that that's not on you. So I started driving this Nissan Pathfinder, and they started calling it Ugochi's car. Everybody started calling it Ugochi's car. So I did not buy the car with my money. So now somebody will see me driving Nissan Pathfinder and just no, this one will not be submissive. Your loss. Maybe God didn't even want you to see me. That's why. So that happened. So that was one. The second one is, I remember as you were speaking, I remembered when I was in this group and a conversation was put on this WhatsApp group. A man and his wife. The man is saying that it is only love if the woman washes his clothes with her hand. If she uses a washing machine, it is not love. So somebody brought it to this WhatsApp group and was asking, what do you people think? We were giving perspective. Jesus Christ. Wow. I told them, I said, see, the man I will marry will not even have this conversation because he knows he knows there is a queen that he married. What? The proof of my love is that I wash the clothes with the hand. Wow. Really? These are low-level conversations. The kind of man that would marry me knows that a washing machine is coming because he's not even expecting that this queen Ugochi that he's getting married to should be doing such things because she has to go save the world. She needs to have all these things to go to so and so country. He knows. God, I don't even know how to explain this thing again. He knows. So we won't even be having those kinds of conversations. So see, if God puts you somewhere, it's because there is somebody at that level. If you bring yourself down because you're trying to attract something, it's because you don't even believe in yourself, or you don't even believe in what God says. Now, a man that with what you have today is a problem. You know why? The Bible says that the path of the just shines brighter and brighter. So it means if you are doing fantastic today, you never start. Where you are still gonna blind eyes. So if now there's already problem, when it is now a blinding something, how does it want to happen? How? How? So no. Please, there are no scarcity of men. Let's stop this thing because people are thinking, oh, maybe there are no men. No. There is no scarcity. My God is a God of abundance. There is someone for everybody. There is. Okay? Don't shortchange yourself because you're trying to fit into a mold. And that is because there is more. There is more. If you begin to think that you need to act a certain way to get the man, what happens when other things show up in future? When you get that promotion, when something fantastic happens to you, you're not going to go and tell a lie at home. You cannot confidently say it. No. The reason God brings people together is because when you come together as a force, there is so much damage you can do to the kingdom of darkness because you are where God wants you to be. Now, if both of you are competing with yourselves or hiding things from yourself, it's already a problem because you haven't started. The journey is long. Marriage is long.
Yes.
Marriage is long. You can't start doing all these small local trouble. Let me just call it what it is. It's local trouble. You are doing low level battle. See, that when I have conversations with some of my younger siblings, I tell them, I said, see, there are some fights I don't want to fight in this life. There's some battles. The kind of problems I want to solve is, how are we going to make so and so happen for so and so country? How can we make so and so partnerships happen for so and so organizations? Those are the kinds of problems I want to solve. I don't want to be solving, are we washing clothes with hands?
Who washed the clothes?
No.
Oh my God. What detergent are we going to is amazing. They come and the things that causes
it also goes to cooking. I cook. I can't say that maybe I love cooking, but I cook. I always make sure that I have a variety of stuff in my fridge so that if I go to the kitchen to cook now, you best believe that all the burners are working, because that time spent in the kitchen must be productive. Soup will come out, stew will come out, different, so that it will be impact in the food, because I know the assignment on my life. I know that staying in the kitchen for overtime is not part of the assignment. I know. So because I know, I arrange my life to ensure that there is still food, but it does not detract from what needs to be done. And so the kind of person that's going to marry me, already from what he is seeing from a distance, and he knows that this person, this is the assignment on her life. Before he even talk to me, he already knows. Then when he now talks to me and we have conversations, he can see. So it's not like coming together. You know, it's like a puzzle. You don't have everything. You also don't have, but when people come together, you fit perfectly, and you keep working together. Yes. So when you are already shortchanging yourself, you will not show up in the full capacity to harness every aspect of that marriage. And everybody showing up in a marriage has to show up in their full capacity. You show up 100. You don't show up 45. The other one is showing 35. How now? How will people reach the 200? No. So please, I am begging you, say I put my hands together. Don't do this. Don't do this to yourself, please. Don't shortchange yourself. And I'm not asking you to be proud. There's a place for wisdom, right? There's a place for wisdom. But even as you are applying God's wisdom, it doesn't, and that's why they always, when you see these conversations are going on, if people are already married, they will tell you, use wisdom to try to get your needs, to negotiate, right? Now, if you are not married, they will tell you, make the right decision before you enter. So
Before
this is
you
for
go
singles. Make the right decision before you go in, because when you go in, there are still so many decisions that would need to be made as a unit. You don't want to be having low-level conversations. You want to be talking about real things. So if you're already subtracting, it might be the essence of the marriage. That might be what will make that marriage work, because you are trying to get him. You are already compromised, and you are not starting that marriage on a great capacity to a relationship. To do. And please stop thinking that because you know what you want and what God says about you, it means that you are proud. You don't want to be humble and submit. No. People mix confidence for arrogance. You know, they misplace them. It's not right. You must understand what they want, so that you do not make unnecessary mistake, because you are going to be in this for the long run. I'm planning to go into marriage and stay there till Jesus calls me home. I'm not, there's no shortcut. So because of that, I have to be sure that we are doing it right. And so even
Yes.
when I'm in a relation, if we are having an argument and you say it in a way that it's not palatable, when we finish and we have the conversation, please, I
Mm-hmm.
know that disagreements are bound to happen. However, is it possible that when we are having an argument, we operate in so and so manner?
Yes.
Because I don't want to start what I cannot finish. So you have an option. You decide, no, I am the man. I am the man. This is how it shall be. Because you are the Lion of the tribe of Judah. No problem. Or it's all feedback. It's all feedback. Or you also say, okay, because of the kind of relationship we're trying to build here, this is a good idea. And adjustment is both ways. It might also be you, the lady, that you are not a go-getter, but the guy wants a go-getter. You ask yourself, in this life, where you call to be a go-getter, if you were, why are you slacking? Then you need to do something about it. But if you have seen that, okay, that's not the one that they called you to, then you pipe low. But you see, again, it all still boils down to, do you even know what God said? It's the same thing. I know the kind of marriage that God wants me to have. And so he had to take me through a process because he knew that this was going to be a challenge in the marriage. And I took the lesson. It was hard. But because, again, I know that God would not lead me to my destruction, I submitted that learning process because I know that in the end, it's for my own good. So we're not trying to castigate the men or support only the women, no. So that we keep this information as balanced as possible. Even if you are a guy, it applies to you too. You've got to know what God really says about you as a person, you in your future, and then the person you're supposed to get married to. Because if you go and get married to a person that does not align, most especially if you're a woman, you have to submit to that authority and then use wisdom to try to see how you can make some meet here and there. But it will be hard though, but the grace is sufficient. But then if you have not yet got to marry, this is the best time to make those decisions so that it's easier. Does it mean when people get into the marriage there won't be friction? There will be. But because both of you know that you are in the right place and your heads are also in the right place, you are willing to work it out to ensure that everything happens appropriately. Yeah.
So Ugochi, the marriage counselor, like we'll add that to your title, or relationship therapy, because it's really, and perhaps also because the conversations you have with your friends, like you really sound all that you are sharing. Okay, I think we have about 2 more questions before we go to our rapid fire question for you. And please share with us, Ugochi, what does your ideal man look like, or God's ideal man for you? Who does it look like? What does it look like? Or what are some expectations you have? In case future husband is watching. Don't worry, Auntie. Don't worry. We'll share testimony. Let's see. Okay.
Hey, God, I should want to answer that question on IG. Like I said earlier, I talk, right, but I don't say everything.
Everything. Okay. So it's not okay. Okay. So can you share only one thing with us? We'll collect the rest from behind the scene. Please just give us one gist, only one. Then we'll get the rest.
One.
Yes, just one is fine. Your mama is laughing. Just please, we are begging for only one.
So kindness is very important to me. Kindness is very important to me because if you are kind to me, they are not kind to people that you feel that they are less than you are. The day that you are angry, you also transfer it to me. And I don't want to be there. So kindness is very important. If you treat gatesmen, security, all this anyhow, I don't like it. I don't like it. So kindness is communication is very, very important because I'm a communicator. I pick things that are being said and unsaid. So it means that my antenna in that direction is very sharp. And so because it is very sharp, I want communication to be fluid. I want to be able to talk to you and I want you to be able to talk to me because we are our safe space. So for example, when I was in a relationship, right, there were things that would happen on social media that myself and my boyfriend could not talk about because we are in the public eye. We can't talk about it on social media. Then we can talk about it ourselves. We'll give ourselves all the gist, or give all the perspectives that we can only say to ourselves. Say it out there. And that is it. Your marriage should be a place where the two of you can do where people can just look at each other. I know that people have passed on the message. Every other person don't know, but you people know what you have said. It's a lot. So for me, I will just say those two. The other ones, let's just leave it. Later on, when I marry, I'll tell you people.
Yes, you share with us. Wow. So, I mean, I think you pretty much covered. You've done the assignment, done and delivered, and I'm so grateful, Ugochi. Thank you. Now let's go to your rapid. Okay, you can see me. In about 30 seconds, just to get to know a bit about you. So, yes, are you ready?
Can you hear me? Is it possible for me to pass? And any question I don't want to answer?
Okay, well, yes,
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can hear you. You can. It's possible. But you can't pass more than 3 questions.
But I want to believe that the questions you want to ask are questions I will not want to pass, Abby.
Oh, no. Yeah, when you hear the question, they're just fun questions, you see. So the first one is, what's your favorite color?
Purple. I have so many purple things around me. Because purple is royalty. So God calls me queen, right? So, I mean, yeah.
So purple. Okay, fantastic. What is your favorite food?
Anything rice. Anything rice.
Oh, okay. Yes, I can hear you. What are you allergic
to?
Hear
me? Maybe dust. Maybe dust because maybe dust. I'm not really allergic in that sense to stuff, but I think the only thing that has, that has a tendency to turn my system upside down, dust. Yeah.
Dust. Okay. What is your best movie?
Do I have?
Tell me best movie again.
I have. I have because there are many movies that I've really enjoyed, but like off the top of my head, I can't even call one for you. Yeah. The only thing I'm remembering now is the one I watched 2 days ago, and I don't think that I
that's your best.
That's best movie.
Okay, what is your best book? Do you have a best book?
Yes. Best book. Secrets from the Bible. I don't know. I just really love the way it talked about business and how it mixed it with what God says and what God expects for us, because I believe that we are here to solve problems. I believe that our Christianity is not supposed to just be in the church. The church is a sleeping house. God prepares us and he sends us out to go there and be his hands and feet on the earth. So yeah, I like it.
That's okay. You already shared that you were born in Kano. So if you weren't born in Nigeria, what country would you have liked to be born into?
I would have loved to be born in. But I know I like Singapore, Sha.
Okay, all right. Let's see, gold or silver?
Silver.
Black or white?
Black or white, black or white, black or white. I think black.
Black, okay. Yellow or pink? That's good to laugh. That is question.
Uh, because pink is my elder sister. My elder sister. I can't really say I'm a pink lady, so maybe I'll say yellow.
Okay. What is your favorite attire to wear?
Dresses. I love beautiful dresses. I love beautiful dresses.
Okay. What is your favorite thing to do?
Sleep.
You know, let's sleep.
Serious. Like, if they were to give award, I would win. And I know that might sound strange because I'm always smashing.
Because I like, the drive lady. How can we say sleep?
I operate when I'm well rested. I operate best when I'm well rested, and sometimes God gives me inspiration. When I am rested, I can perform. So sleep is very important.
Okay. What do you like to do for fun?
Fun. I love distance. I just call them video call. We will gist. I'm not just my friends with my younger sister. I still like to gist. So you can see that's why that communication is very important. Because I mean, if I'm not gisting with you, please, who am I to gist with?
I cannot be talking and I'll be feeling like I'm the only one in this conversation. Yes, I get it. I totally get it. Okay. Small chops or jollof rice?
Small chops.
Okay. Fruits or vegetables?
When the vegetable is a four or afang soup, it's vegetable. But can
Yes,
you
I can hear you. I can.
can you hear
Yes,
me?
I can.
Saying that when the vegetable is a four or afang soup, it's vegetable. In my fridge currently. Then when it is grapes and agbalumo, it is fruits.
What was this? You know, this is very unfair. This is very unfair to this question. We'll just let it go, Ugochi. So would you rather go with a train or a ship? Would you rather use the train or a ship if you could go on an adventure journey?
Maybe a ship because I haven't been on a proper ship before. I've been on a ferry, but it was just short distances from behind me. I have a ferry spot here that sometimes I can take to Roosevelt Island, you know.
Okay.
Maybe because I've not been on a proper ship, I would say a ship, but I've been on a train so much since I came to the US, so I would say ship.
Okay. So bus or an airplane?
Airplane. I mean, I was flying for years, so come on.
Okay, writing or speaking?
So I love to talk, right? I love to speak, but as much as I don't like to write, I've also written a lot. I always have journals, so I'm not going to pick one or the other. I'll take both of them because I need them for my journey.
Okay, rain or sunshine?
Sunshine, please. What's all this rain? Yesterday, there was this annoying rain in New York. It was just drizzling from morning till night. And it's not the kind of drizzling that, serious rain. I didn't go out with an umbrella. I just put my hood over my jacket and I was walking. So it's not that kind of rain that you're all drenched, but since from morning till night. Yes.
All right, sunshine. Let's see. Audio or visual? To learn, that this is to learn now. What do you prefer for learning, audio or visual, when you are probably not reading?
Visual.
Visual. Okay.
And if it's even possible to be in.
Okay. A day at the beach or a day in one of your favorite restaurants?
Restaurant.
Is the pause. Is the way Ugochi just
For me, going to the beach, one of my most memorable dates actually happened on a beach, right? So going to the beach is not something that should be a whole day's work. It should just be maybe for a short period and it's fine, right? That's why I cannot do a whole day there. I can do a whole day at a restaurant because aside eating, we're going to get to talk. We'll talk and talk and talk, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Fantastic. So if you had a magic wand, what would be one thing, because you're originally from Nigeria, what would be one thing you would like to change in Nigeria if you could just change one thing with your power?
Leadership. I'm going to change our leadership because I know that if we get our leadership right, everything is going to work. We have brilliant minds in Nigeria, like fantastic. I was doing a research some days ago because I have a pitch on Monday, and the Nigerians that come to the US are the most educated immigrants. So if we are such a country of highly intelligent people who do not know their left from their right, if we have the right leaders to work with them and those leaders get more leaders, can you see the ripple effect it's going to have?
Yes.
And that's why I'm looking for Nigeria against next year. God will help us.
Okay, and then what would Ugochi like to be remembered for? What would you like to be remembered for?
I'd like to be remembered as someone who used, the little that God gave her and did it to the best of her ability to make a difference in the lives of people around her. And yeah, that's it, because it's going to be an encouragement to every other person that you don't need to have everything. You just need to take that little God has given you, follow through with what God has asked you to do, and every good thing will come. So that's what I would like to be remembered for.
One final word or thought, Ugochi. There's this narrative, and I want you to just speak on it as we close out. There's this narrative that a woman who earns more than a man has the ability to disrespect him. Talking from a lady's point of view now, do you think that is true? Or what would you have to say to women who are earning more than their men, whether in marriages or in relationship or in people about to get into marriage, on how to walk through that narrative? This man has the leadership and all that, but the woman is earning more. I just want to get your thoughts on that, and then we'll sign out.
So money can affect anybody regardless of your gender. So it's not a man or a woman thing. And that's why you hear things like, oh, this woman suffered with the man. When he now made money, he was not carrying girls up and down. He was doing so and so. Yeah. So yes. It can be any of the gender. So what I would just say to both parties is make sure that you are grounded. And what keeps somebody grounded is your relationship with God. Because there are times you are going to misbehave and God is going to call you to order. So if God calls you to order, are you going to swallow your pride, humble yourself and do the right thing? I can say, it's just in your mind. It's only God told you, you don't have to tell me. So it's very important that you know that anybody, either the man or the woman, can be influenced by money. But it is now you, the individual, you have a responsibility to ensure that regardless of who earns more, or if you are the one earning more, that you're not going to allow money to change who you are at the center of your individual has to make. An individual, because it can be a man or it can be a woman. So if the individual's heart is in the right place. You commit to knowing that I don't want money to control me. So you commit to character development. You put systems in place that ensures that you do not overstep your boundary. You do not do what you are not supposed to do. It keeps you in check. The lowest level of trying to modify behavior is by just saying, I will not do it. I have the willpower. I will not do it. No. Don't rely on willpower alone. Yes. Don't rely on willpower. Set systems in place. If you need maybe alarms on your phone that reminds you of certain things, if you need an accountability structure where maybe between both of you, you can have a code word where if one person is overstepping, you can say that code word and the person knows, oh my God, and then you people plan how to backtrack and then how to come back. If it means doing that, do that. If it means having a friend who you can say, please, if I do so and so, keep me accountable. I don't want to act in so and so. Whatever system that is going to work for you to ensure that your character does not change because of money, set it. Set it before you need it. So that, yes, many people wait medicine after death. No, set it before you need it so that you are grooming yourself. And I can say this again because very recently I had an experience last week that was really somehow, and after I thought about it, it had nothing to do with boy-girl relationship now, but it was also like God pointing out something through the scenario that happened, and I said, okay, so it means when I step into so and so settings, this is how I'm going to behave. When I step out of so and so settings, this is how we behave. It's you also being able to self-regulate, understanding when God is showing you things, making the necessary correction, because God is not going to allow you to get up there and self-destruct. So as much as possible, He's going to show you signs. So you, the individual, you have a responsibility to take your learnings person for the job. And it helps so that even when people look back at you, they can't really fault you, because when the relationship ended, I had managed so and so. In fact, feedback was that I aced everything. And the only reason I could ace everything was because I submitted to the times when God said, no, you are not going to do that. This is what you are going to do. Even if I did not like it, because it was God saying, this is what I should do. I did it anyway. And when that feedback happened, I saw what God was trying to avert. God was trying to ensure that when this will be spoken of later, it will not be saying, but actually, this was what she did. There was no fault, you see. So you've got to self-regulate. Money can change anybody, but you have a responsibility to put systems in place so that it doesn't change you. Can you still hear me?
Contemplating if I wanted to ask it as a sign out question, but you gave a different perspective that is very balanced, and I'm grateful to God for the wisdom on your life. Thank you so much, Ugochi. When the Nell Show comes live, like on big screens, streaming all over the world, we're gonna call you back again for other different conversations.
Thank
joining
you so
us for this edition that you've been invited to. I'm really happy. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for an opportunity to share. I do not take it for granted. Thank you for highlighting this conversation because it is really important. It's just something that we have to keep on, helping people, encouraging them, because it's sometimes it feels like a lonely journey for a lot of women, and it's good for them to know that they are not alone and that God is right there for them. So thank you for the opportunity to share. I appreciate your time and I appreciate everything.
Bye.
Yeah. Thank you to everybody that joined. Thank you, all my people. I see you. Thank you. Cute farmer, my friend.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, now bye.